Okay, that's excellent. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I am Oakwalker, and I'm here with my good friend Stronghorse, and we are Earth Medicine for the Soul. Um, this is our 20th episode, which is,
Oh, really?
yeah, where did time go? And so
Wow.
that's kind of a milestone in most people's books. Uh,
Absolutely. It's a
I'm
great
just
spirit on ours.
right. I'm
Yeah.
amazed that this is still it feels fresh to me. It still feels good. And so we're
Yeah.
moving through a interesting time. These are interesting times, which can be a curse.
So we're
There's
gonna,
uh
I was just say we agreed we're gonna kind of delve into beauty this time.
yeah,
And
I don't want to distract
so
us
I,
from that.
so why don't you talk a little bit about what, how did you first arrive at a recognition point of beauty, or what were you doing, or how did it manifest in your life?
Well, there's beauty and then there's beauty. Um, So I think I've always been an appreciator of beauty, things that are pretty, things that are appealing. And also for me, beauty has always been a feeling of peace inside, which from my upbringing basically meant that I wasn't under attack at the moment. And that was a beautiful feeling. But as I started moving through my shamanic work and my shadow work, beauty took on a much broader tone and broader meaning. And that meaning is that it's a kind of a universal beauty. Um, so such a deep subject. It's it's a beauty that seems to emanate from within everything that exists.
Exactly.
And
Well,
yeah.
well, on my path, um, my teacher Swifter studied under a guy named Two Bears, who grandfather Two Bears, who was a Navajo medicine
Mhm.
man, and so we got a lot of. And he was also Don Gennaro on the Castaneda books, but we got a
Uh-huh.
lot of Dene teachings, and the Dene teaching is pretty much encapsulated on what they call the Blessed Beauty Way.
Mhm.
And so that was my first introduction to it. And it was, we were given a prayer to say over and over again, to sort of anchor beauty down in our lives. And it's in beauty I walk, with beauty before me I walk, with beauty behind me I walk, with beauty above me I walk, with beauty around me I walk. It has become beauty again.
Uh-huh.
And so that's a Navajo prayer,
Yeah, I
for it.
remember
And
that. It's one of the
so,
ones that led me into all of the beauty part of the thing too. It's the same prayer.
so I agree with you that beauty is in everything. And then, just as you do, when we pick a subject, we start gurgitating it in our brain,
Uh-huh.
And so one of the things I realized when I started thinking about this today is that, beauty, it exists in everything except that, like you said, there's beauty and then there's beauty.
Hmm.
Beauty that we're talking about, or we were trying to get people to understand, is an energy that presents itself, but it doesn't show itself to you until you acknowledge it.
Yes, you align with it.
You align with it. There's, I think for me, I think beauty in encapsulating beauty in your life is really the whole enchilada. I
Mm,
mean, we can say love is what keeps the universe fueled or glued together, how you want to do that, but
yeah.
beauty is the reflection of love,
Yes.
and there's there's beauty in a lake, or there's beauty in this, and there's beauty in that, but it's a whole different form from a shamanic viewpoint when you can look at something and see the beauty in it from a standpoint of not just first attention. In other words, if you can see something through second, third, fourth attention, it responds to you
Hmm. I
because its
agree.
consciousness is programmed to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had situations like in Mexico where I've like pull over and park on the side of the road just to be able to watch some guy come by on a donkey, you know, because I'm digging on the beauty of what's happening there.
Yeah.
That it's almost like a painting that's unfolding before me, and that's how I
Hmm.
look at it. Other people would be looking at it thinking, "What the fuck are we doing? What? It's a guy on a donkey. Let's go."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and so they don't have that proclivity to be able to draw the beauty out of a situation. And I had another time when I was down in Mexico and I was on the beach, and this is where I usually practice most of my beauty work in Mexico because there's it's paved over here in the United States, basically.
yeah.
I mean, it's very difficult to have that. Um, and I remember we were with a group of people, and and I'm like got a beautiful piece of fish in front of me, and I'm digging on the surf and the sand and the seagulls and the just. I'm like, oh my God, this is
This is
great. And
it. Yeah.
there's one woman at the table, she's just like, meh, 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 give me attention, meh, meh, give me attention, meh, meh,
Yeah.
meh. And I just listened and went, shh, shh. And And she got up and left, which was
Uh-huh.
probably a good idea because I would have definitely taken it to the next level.
Oh.
Uh, I mean, in this country, it has become so go-go and so superficial and so
Yeah.
dynamically opposed to this beauty way thing that it's just
Yeah.
nobody has a clue. Nobody's
Yeah.
got the time to stop and smell the roses. Everybody, I mean, everybody's just on this fast track. So with all that in mind, what led me to the next thing was a realization that, I think there's multiple levels, as we both know, you talk a lot about multiple dimensions.
Hmm.
And if you look at these dimensions as like a set of smart television screens that are lined up one, two, three, four, five, six, and then kind of extend out into infinity. And every one of those smart TV screens are programmed to receive certain vibrations from the Wi-Fi unit, right? And us being the Wi-Fi unit. And so when
Uh-huh.
we project a certain frequency out there, it engages with the first attention or the first screen, then the second, third, fourth. It can go any number of screens out in there, and they
Yes.
respond.
Hmm.
They respond back to you. I think that's where shamanic study becomes so vitally important is because it teaches you that there's multiple dimensions, multiple worlds within which you can access if you're willing to acknowledge them and give them your beauty and allow them to share their beauty with you. It opens up a whole nother thing.
That's really well put. It all goes so deep. Um, I want to just, that's beautiful. And I want to bring that back to the other direction because as we've been indoctrinated to believe that there was this thing called the Big Bang, and everybody believes it was the only Big Bang, but there might have been bang, 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 bang over the eons of huge eons of time. But each one of them, to me, it's only ever made sense that the first expulsion of energy was an act of love, that it had to be an act of love. And out of that is where the beauty of the universe is. It's original expression, if you will. So when we look to the beauty of something, it's like looking back to the very creation and to maybe the motivation of the creator and to make something that's beautiful. We have a choice whether we want to align with that beauty or not. And if I want to live in peace, I will align with that. I don't know any other way to put that. Everything else is chaos. And
Well, I think, I agree with you. That's also really well point. But and in that same vein of thought, whatever you're projecting out there, I mean, if we
mhm,
want to look, let's take this really deeper. Whatever you're projecting out, there's a screen in front of you, it's a 3D screen. Whatever you're projecting out there, you're saying to the consciousness of that screen,
exactly.
bring it back,
Yeah,
bring it back. So if you're angry and anxious and pissed off and all of this stuff, just it's constantly going to be saying, okay, well, here you go,
yeah,
you know, and it's just going to feed that, and it creates a
mhm,
loop of self-deterioration and self-destruction,
exactly. As
and
does,
so
yep.
what I think is the real big ticket, but this is vitally important, and I think this is something this is what shamanism teaches you.
Hmm.
So it's important to have first attention because that's what keeps you from driving your car into a wall,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, we can't be driving around in third, fourth, fifth dimension. It's not going to work, And so first dimension on this physical plane is dominant, right?
Mhm.
So, but if we want to access these multiple dimensions of beauty and expand our understanding, expand our sense of self as a human being, then what we have to do is get out of first attention and access second, third, fourth, fifth attention. And the way you do that is you observe. You
Yes.
observe what it is you want to get beauty from, and don't let it know that you're observing it. You know, you know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? Because the
Yeah.
moment it knows it's being watched, it's going to go into first attention. You're going to go into first attention because you don't want them to slap the shit out of you or anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that breaks the chain.
Hmm.
See, that breaks the deal. And so the ticket is you have to almost like a lot of times if I'm like looking at this, this guy on a burro riding up the road, I'm not looking at him. I'm doing something else, but I'm putting my energy and my attention out there because I'm looking for the beauty that's being emanating forth from that situation.
Yeah. It's
And it, go
yeah,
ahead.
I get it. It's
So,
all
and
like
another,
almost
and
the
another,
radiance.
yes, the radiance. You're looking for that radiance,
Hmm.
and that's what that feeds and nurtures the beauty in you, and you
Right.
create a loop of energy that's. If you look at the infinity loop, that's basically it, you
Hmm.
know. And so, like one of the things in my relationship, quite often, I will observe my wife from the standpoint of, let's say, a very young child,
Hmm.
and she doesn't know I'm doing it, and I'm not looking at her, but I'm watching the little girl in her,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I'm receiving the beauty of that from that knowing, from that intimate connection, which is reinforcing my love for her. You
Exactly.
can't not feel you can't not feel love under in that particular situation.
I
You know,
agree.
then and if she sees me and she'll turn around and say, "What are you doing?" Well, that's it. It's over,
Yeah.
until I decide to do it again. But
Yeah. I
I
say,
mean,
you're
that's
really
the
cute,
way.
dear, and then we move on.
What?
I
Yeah.
say, you're really
But
cute,
I
dear,
mean,
and we move on.
but that nurtures both people,
Yep.
because it's a spirit to spirit connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're honoring and respecting her because you're seeing her as a little girl, or you're seeing her as something other than what she is in presenting herself in the moment.
Yeah.
You could do that also, but this spirit, when you acknowledge somebody's spirit and show it respect and ask to exchange beauty with it,
Hmm.
I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, man.
Yeah. That's where the namaste, I see the God in you, comes out
Yeah.
of. which is a beautiful way to put it as well. I think that, oh, go ahead.
Now, I feel like I've talked too much. You jump in there.
So it had it mm, as you practice this, releasing your uh egoic judgment and that what you were calling the first what would you call it?
Attention,
The first
first
attention.
attention.
Yeah. As you release that, it becomes clear that that radiant beauty is present in everything,
In
just
everything.
everything. And it's coming out of the
Everything.
trees and the grass and the flowers and the things that you don't even expect. I mean, it's coming out of the microphone, the books on my, the CDs, the herbs that I have all around here. It's all, it could, whether it's technological, whether it's been heavily manipulated by mankind, like cement stuff, it's still there. And if I just give myself a moment to relax and feel into that, then I can see the beauty in everything. And that's a big deal for me because it's not something that I just, walked around with my whole life knowing this way of being. It's something that I had to
No.
pursue and I had to chip away at the stuff that was between me and that attitude over time. It was
Yeah, well,
work.
as men, we're not really trained to foster that kind of internal development.
Yeah, it's
That's really
considered a
something we have to
weakness,
yeah, we have to make a U-turn at some point in life.
right?
This is the shit ain't working. I'm going this way.
It's like, well, you got a heart.
Let me share with you another interesting story that amplifies exactly what you're saying on a major level. Um, I used to go down to a little village in Mexico called Mismaloya, which is south of Puerto Vallarta, and it's where
Mhm,
they filmed the Predator and Night of the Iguana and stuff. And I had a friend who lived there, and it was in the village, and so I would stay there and I would hike and go up into there's this beautiful river that came down from the mountains through there, and so one time I hiked up there and up into the jungle, and it's a series of small little waterfalls that come over these white, beautifully sculpted boulders, and into these deep emerald green pools. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I was up there one time swimming and taking in the beauty of everything, and for some reason I thought, well, I think I'll just call the spirit of the river. And so I did, and I called the spirit of the river. Well, she showed up. And
uh-huh.
and and her first reaction was, "What is going on here? There's a man in my river, and he's acknowledging me." What?
Yeah, he's acknowledging me.
You know, this hasn't happened since I don't even know when. And
Not since the Catholics moved in.
so I was like, you know, yeah, and I told her, I says, "This is who I am. This is my path. These are my elders. Blah blah blah." And it wasn't a form. It was an energy presence,
Mhm.
but it was definitely feminine. And then she
Yeah.
came forth and embraced me.
Hmm.
And so I'm sitting in this waterfall, below this waterfall in this green, lush jungle with this energy embracing me of love and beauty. And it was staggeringly amazing. I mean, it was
Hmm.
stunningly beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was, and I just remember thinking, oh man, why can't we just have this all the time?
Right.
I mean, what we can have it. So the point is, there's a support system for you
All the
all
time.
around you, all the time, and all you got to do is acknowledge it and ask for it to share its beauty with you,
Yes. That's exactly
and
right.
then be open to it and receptive to it.
Hmm. And not
I
turn
mean,
it
that's kind
off
of
or talk over it. Don't shout over it for crying out loud. You know how we do.
yeah. I mean, there's limits. You can't go up to the meat counter in HEB and go, I should like to have some of your ribeyes. But I can't look at you because I don't want to get first attention. I mean, but
Yeah,
if men could if men can understand that this is like there's nothing there's nothing demasculating about this at all. It is vitally superiorly masculine intensive, because you got to be able to be willing to step into the unknown
yeah. And
and
that's what
open these things
warriors
up.
do.
That's what warriors do. That's
Yeah,
exactly right. And it's, you're looking for solutions to problems, and it's just all right there. You live in a 3D world, and whatever you project out there, it's going to give you back because it's everything's got consciousness.
yeah,
Everything.
yep,
And it's going to go, well, apparently he wants this, so here we go.
yep.
You
He
know,
wants to be
and
poor.
you
Let him have
want your ass slapped, we're there for you.
it.
Need to wake up, we'll help you.
Yep.
I
Well,
mean, don't you agree? I mean,
yes, I
you find
do.
all that beautiful.
I do. And also the actual, just it feels so good to chip off that piece that was stuck between me and beauty. You know, there's that warning sign again. Let me get that off of there. Are you there?
Yeah,
Ooh,
you talking to me?
yes, I am. Something weird just happened. I think I made a bad click. So,
I got time left in my right hand corner there at 9 minutes, 30 seconds.
oh, there we are. Oh, I see what happened. All right. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Maybe we'll have to cut that part out. That was just like computerese uh-ohs.
Or you get to
So
see the real us.
yeah, right. Let me just click that. Nope, wrong.
That's that's how we're gonna that's how we're gonna introduce our branding at the end, right?
One of these
Yeah, we make
days, anyway.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Sure do. Oh my God. So
Um,
yeah, I think I just really think it's when again, I'm going to go back. I think it's the whole enchilada. I mean, I think it is vitally important
mhm.
for people but I think particularly with the new world. I mean, I'll even go so far as to say this is probably the ticket into the new world.
Well, there's going to be a division somehow because if if you have to allow and accept and align yourself with the new vibrations that are coming down on the planet, those who don't want to do that are going to have to, I guess, sink into oblivion. Or as far as we're concerned, are we going to be able to see them anymore? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. I just keep thinking
Well,
of Kuan
the
Yin.
girl I was the girl I was listening to on this right before we came on, she addressed that. She said basically, you're going to be in a whole different world, and the other one is not going to make any sense to you. So you're not
Well,
going to
then I'm
participate.
there.
Yeah, you're not going to participate. And
Uh-huh.
the ones that choose to remain there are going to, I mean, again, go back to the same whole enchilada theory. They're going to keep projecting their stupid shit into
Mhm.
their old world mirrors of reflection and getting it back and
Yeah,
still saying, yeah, we were right. It's about fear. It's about guns. It's about,
yeah,
it's all, and we're going to be going, oh man. I can't deal with that.
yeah.
That's just, I just need to stay over there. And however that physically looks, yeah, I have no idea. But
I
I can
don't
tell you,
either.
I mean, we're going to be in a completely different space. And I think it's going to be one where, I think a lot of what we're doing through this particular podcast is emblematic of what you're going to be seeing in the new world. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
we're basically sitting there talking about subjects and exchanging viewpoints on things that are that we've had similar experiences with but coming at it from different directions. You
Yeah,
know, so we really kind of have a circle here of a medicine wheel, a
yeah.
gathering of different paths, and using our to exchange knowledge and then weave that knowledge into a tapestry that is going to become the fabric of the new world.
Hmm. Mm. It's
You know,
beautiful.
I think that's going to happen, you know,
I think it's happening
and I think we've
already.
been doing that our whole life.
Well, getting ready for it anyway. I always thought I was preparing for something big, and I've never been able to figure out why nobody else understood that. It's like, all
Right.
right, well, fine,
Yeah. Right. You like my aluminum hat.
You got one of
It
those
says
too?
Stronghorse on the top.
That's going to be have to be our merch.
Earth Messer for the Soul, aluminum
Right.
hats. That's hilarious.
I like
Absolutely.
that. We'll have to go
Oh
with
my
that.
good.
Well, anyway, I think we should
Oh my
probably cut this off. It's getting about that time. Gonna have to edit this down. What do we got? So let me say thank you everyone who's put up with us for all this time and paid attention. I really appreciate you. I know Stronghorse really appreciates you too. And there's one thing we want to say, and it is only the
only
great
the great spirit is
spirit is
perfect.
perfect. We'll get better at that. Thank you all, and we will sign off now.
Goodbye.